Hello, you're welcome back. In this video, we're looking at the NECO Computer Practicals 2024, and we're looking at question number 1. So of course, the instruction says you should answer only 2 questions, but in this video, we're going to handle question 1. So use a computer system to answer the questions. Use Calibri typeface with font size 12, all through except otherwise stated. Please, we need to take note of this instruction, is key. Okay. Calibri, very important. No content of your work should be identical to any other candidates. You are required to print out the hard copies. So question 1A says use figure 1 as a guide to create a school registration form with Microsoft Word. So this is the guide that we're going to use. And they say create a logo using the first and second letters. Okay, so we will have to recreate this in Microsoft Word and then begin to change them as the instruction goes here. I've launched my Microsoft Word already, so I'm going to start. So I am going to type the school name, then in brackets school motto. Okay, so this is what I want to do. If you check here, you will see that these two guys are close. So to do that, I would go to the line spacing and go to remove line after paragraph so that they can be closed. Now I can centralize this because this text here is at the center, yeah, and then I can leave it this way. Now the next thing is for us to draw these boxes for logo and passport. So we go to insert and then go to shapes. I'll use the text box. I'll click, hold and drag. Okay, and then I'll type logo. Then I can click on it on the line there and Ctrl D to duplicate. Then I'll drag it and drop it somewhere here. I want them to be properly aligned. Now watch closely. I want them to be properly aligned, so we need to do this carefully. So I think this is good. So the next thing for us to do is to begin to enter this text here, bio data and all of that, okay, all up to the very end. So let's do that together. So I placed my cursor there and then I'll just press enter and click on right align and left align. Okay, here that I am, I think I need to adjust this text because this text box, because if I type here say bio data, so I can adjust this or adjust the text box, yeah, so any of them would work. Let me adjust the text box so that it can be in line with this, yeah. Okay, this is good and this is also good. Let me shrink this a bit. Remember that here is supposed to be passport, yeah. Okay, I would want to type this text all through so that I can be very fast, and then I can come back to add the lines or the text boxes as the case may be, yeah. Okay, okay, so that's what we have up to data 5. If you check here, we need to keep some space so that it will be easy for the text box to have enough room, yeah. So in order to do that, I'll just press enter. I'm thinking that this space is too much. How about I just change the line spacing? Select them and come to line spacing and check. Okay, so I think this is better. 1.5 is good, so I'll leave it at 1.5. So the next thing we need to type is contact information, info1 to info4. So let's do that. So I realized that there were no semicolons here or colons. Okay, so I would take these colons out because we don't need them, but we need these ones, okay, because they are there. Yeah, good. And then the last part says medical information, med 1 all through to med 4. Yeah, so here med 1, med 3, you see med 2, med 4. So to achieve that, I think I can start drawing the line from here since we are almost at the end. So I will hold my shift key down and press the minus button, which will give us the underscore up to this point. Yeah, I don't think that's bad enough. Yeah, and then I would hit my tab key to push it up a little. I'll do it again in order to give this space here. Yeah, so I think this looks good. Now a clever way to achieve this will be to select these two, copy it. You can delete this one and just Ctrl V, okay, and you're good. You can also choose to press enter just to space it up a bit. Yeah, so I don't think that's bad. Then I can change this to 2 and then change this to 4. Okay, so let's also do the same thing for this one. So you come here, you can give a space, hold your shift key and your underscore button, which is the minus button, and move it as much as you can. We can leave it this way. So in order to have equal space, I'll just copy that and then I'll paste, then I'll paste, space, and then paste so that they are equal. Okay. What else do we need to do? So here requires text boxes, so we need to insert text boxes along this line. So I will come to insert, go to text box, dash shapes, and text box. So I want this, so let me do it this way. Let me just do it this way. Okay, so having achieved this, I can click on it and do Ctrl D. I can adjust this to align with that. I can select the two of them. Okay, so select one, hold your Ctrl key down and select the other one and do Ctrl D. So you can drag and drop it where you want it to be. So looks like our text box is quite big. So there are two ways to do this. Either we leave them like this or we just increase the line spacing here. So I think we should increase the line spacing on this too. Let's see. Okay, so let's do it 2 line space 2. So this looks good. I think we can just adjust this a little bit. You can just click on it and use your arrow to align it a little bit. Okay, you'll do the same. Okay, so this looks good. I believe this is fine. So we can Ctrl D again to get the last one. So this looks good. Okay, so we've actually gotten a sketch of what they want us to do here. I believe everything looks okay. Data 1 to 5, info 1 to 4, med 1 to 4. Yeah, data 1 to 5, info 1 to 4, med 1 to 4. Okay, so we're good. So let's begin to follow the specifications as instructed here. They say create a logo using the first and second alphabet of your surname in uppercase. Okay, so do that and place them here as the logo, right? So let's do that. So we'll take this out, So you use your the first and second letter. So mine is UC. Okay, so you can use that. Now, in order to make this look a bit stylish, I'm just going to change the font style. Maybe I'll use Lucinda, and then I can use maybe this bright, okay, brush script. Then I can select two of them and increase the font size. Oh, that's too much. Okay, this looks good. I can center align them. Okay, I think it looks okay. So I am wondering, should we leave these boxes, these lines to appear like that? Okay, so from this instruction, placing at the top left corner, so that means we're replacing the logo with this. So the text, I think the text box should equally go. Now replace passport at the top right corner of the form with any clip of it. So I honestly think that we don't need these lines to appear here anymore. Okay, so in order to remove these lines, all we need to do is to go to format, shape format, and then go to shape outline, because what is appearing is the outline. There is a fill here, but it's white, so it corresponds with the background of our paper, so that won't be a problem. So let's just come here, click, and you do no outline. So with that, this is what you have. I think this is good. Now we'll need to do the same thing here, but let's follow the instructions. It says replace passport. So we've done this one. Let me take this out. Replace passport at the top right corner of the form with any clip of your choice. Any clip art of your choice. So you can use any image like stuff. Okay, so let's come here. We will take this out. We don't need this passport anymore. Let me go to inserts. Let me see if I can pick up any shape of my choice. I can use any. Let me use the shape, this arrow quad, and then I can come in here, drag and draw it. Okay, then I can choose to add some effects to it just to make it look a bit good. Okay, so I think this is fine. Now the same thing, we need to remove the outline here. So I clicked on that text, and then I click on the text box, and then I'll go to outline and no outline. Okay, so I think that checks out. So we're done with this guy. Now the next one, number 3, so replace school name with your name and surname, adding secondary school. Okay, so let's do that. Your name and surname, so that means your first name and your surname. First name, surname. Then you add secondary school as a suffix. Okay, secondary school at the end. Font size 24. Center align, it is already center aligned. So you make it bold. Font size 24. Remember, they had earlier told us to use Calibri, so we're not going to change the font name here, just the font size to 24 and make it bold. So we're going to select this. I don't know why the text box gets selected. Okay, good. So I'm going to pick that and make it bold, change it to 24. I hope it doesn't distort our work. 24. Oh, it does. So we need to take this. Okay, so right here I clicked on the image. I think I can move this image here. Okay, what about the text box? Let's see. Okay, so the text box really doesn't have any problem, doesn't have any connection with the image, so we can delete the text box. We don't need it, so this will do. We can adjust it a little bit. Okay, good. Now the same thing here, but this one I think we need to move the text box itself, because we can't move the image, the text inside without moving the text. So let's move the text box a little bit. Whoa. Okay, so this looks good. So I think this is fine, so that this name can appear fully. Yeah, so we're done with this part, right? I hope this is 24. Let's confirm that. Yes, it is. Okay, center aligned. Okay, blah blah, we did that. Now motto, school motto, replace the school motto. So let me check this out now. Replace the school motto with your reg number and make it italics using font size 11. So this should be font size 11. We're not told to change the font name, so we'll leave it that way. And then use your reg number. I don't know your reg number, so use your reg number. Okay, so we're done with that part. The next part says use Tahoma font face with font size 18 for the subheadings. So bio data, contact information, medical information must be font size 18 Tahoma. So we need to select it carefully. I don't want it to affect this text box so that it doesn't have the same font as this. Okay, so I tried selecting, for the case picking this one. Okay, so what I will do is this. I have a clever way to do that. I will come to this point here. I will hold my Control and Shift, and then I'll press my right arrow, and then you to select the entire text, the entire word, and then I just want to select only the column. I would take my hand off the Control, leave it on the Shift, and just press 1, so it will select the character. So with Shift you get to select character by character, but with Shift and Control you get to select word by word. Okay, so with that I can change this to Tahoma. Tahoma font size what? Tahoma font size 18, bold and italics. 18, bold, italics. So we can do the same for these ones. Okay, so here we are. Now we can adjust this a bit because we would want this to align with that. Yeah, so but we will do that later. Let's just continue. So we're done with this part. I hope we did it correctly and I didn't miss anything out. Okay, so we are on to the number 6. Say for bio data use the following subtitles. So we need surname, other names, phone number, date of birth, and sex to replace data 1 to 5 respectively. So for data 1, so this is supposed to be the surname, then here other names, data 3, so the next thing we need to do is to adjust these text boxes, okay, to align. Okay, so this is not bad. I think the others look okay. The others look okay. So we could have done it this way, or we could have just aligned them like that. You know, I think it's all up to us to choose the arrangement that we want to do. Okay, but I want to leave mine this way. Yeah, this way looks better for me. So the next thing is for us to provide the corresponding data in rectangular boxes as shown in figure 1 for subtitles provided in number 6. So we need to fill this up. Okay, we need to fill this up, so you can use your name to do that. Yeah, and your correct information. Meanwhile, this is my WhatsApp number, so you can feel free to reach me if you have any particular thing you want us to discuss. So you put your age and then your gender, If you're watching this video up to this point, that means you're really enjoying this video. Now, why don't you take out time to just like, share, subscribe, or follow, depending on the platform that you're watching from. That way the video gets to as many persons as possible. Now, remember, it will cost you nothing. Thank you for doing that. Let's continue. All right, looks like we're done with this part. So let's go to number 8. Number 8 says, for contact information, use permanent home address, emergency contact, parent or guardian's name, parent's number to replace info 1 to 4. Okay, so let's do that. So if you check, you would notice that these lines, we can make them look better. So I can add more of this here. I can leave this address like this. Okay, you can go further if you want. The same thing. Okay, so having adjusted this like this, I think we're good to go. So we've done this very part. So the next thing we need to do is number 9. It says, for medical information, subtitles, replace med 1 to med 4 with blood group, genotype, weight, and height. Okay, blood group, genotype, weight, and height. So you come here, you do the same thing. Okay, so in case you're wondering why my text gets to replace the other one, I pressed the insert key on the keyboard, so that when I'm typing, it is just replacing what I have already typed instead of creating space for more. Okay, please, I'm sorry I didn't mention that earlier on. So that way I get to not have my work all messed up. So the same thing here. Okay, so having achieved that, I can now go to the end and add extra text boxes. Okay, so I think this looks okay. Let me add extra text box here. I mean extra line, sorry. Okay, not bad, not bad, not bad. But we can choose to add more if we want. Okay, and then hit the tab key to push this back a bit. Oh, I needed to have pressed my insert key. So let me undo that. Okay, and then when I do tab, it moves without replacing. Okay, I think I need to do the same thing here. While editing this video, I noticed 2 omissions here. The first one was that I didn't notice that the Geno disappeared alongside while I was working. So I will correct that. And I equally noticed that I overlooked this very part of the instruction. Okay, so I am equally going to do that. Now I decided to attach this video here so that you will see the mistakes and notice that mistakes like this are very possible, and then you need to avoid them. So in order to avoid them, do well to double check your work once or twice or thrice, just to be sure that everything checks out. That is also the reason I mark off these things, just to be sure. So you could try to underline them just to be sure that you have touched every area that you need to. Okay, mistakes like this are possible, so do well to double check before you submit your work. So I'm going to start with here and type Geno, and then I'm going to delete. See, I'll come here and press delete, delete just to push it up this way. Okay, so since I've done that, the next part is for us to correct this. They say provide appropriate corresponding data of your choice. So that means here we need to put in a blood group. So I will use a text box to achieve that. Come here, get a text box, and oh, it disappeared. Get a text box, draw it. I can drop it here. Now if you notice, the text box is covering the line. Okay, so I'll do O positive. I'll just do O, right? Yes, O. So let's see the font size. Remember, they say Calibri and 12, right? So it has to be this way. Now let's try to adjust this a bit. Okay, that adjustment is not going to work for us. We can take this up a little bit. Good. So that I want that line to show. Now the line is showing, but there's something we need to do here. If you watch, it is also covering this top, yeah, a bit, and then that line is also showing. So we need to remove the fill and the outline. Sorry. So let's come here, remove the fill, no fill, and then we can come here again and remove the outline, no outline. So when we do that, you can see it is standing on its own now. So we can just use this same text box still, click on the line, do Ctrl D to duplicate, and then carry it here so that we can equally enter the other data here. You see, so we need to enter for all of them. So here is a genotype, so it can be positive, right? So this is the correction I wanted to make. Now I'll go back so that we'll continue from where we stopped. Thank you. Okay, so I think this looks okay. So that's about number 9. So let's look at number 10. Use your surname to create a semi-transparent watermark in a diagonal layout on your work. So this is what we need to do. We'll come to, I think, design, and then watermark. Then go to custom watermark, custom. Go to text watermark, and then change this text here ASAP to your surname. Diagonal, so semi-transparent, diagonal. If you were asked to change the font size, you do that here. If you were asked to change the text, the size, the font's name and the font size, you use these options. And then if you're asked to use a particular color, you can use this option. But if you're not, you can leave it at the default. You can apply it to see what it will look like, and then you can close it. The last part says print out the hard copy of your work in portrait format. Okay, so before you print out, remember that I don't know why I keep forgetting to save, but please, if you are in the exam, remember to always save your work. Very important to always save your work. So I'm just going to drop this in the folder where I normally drop my things. Okay, and then I'll just save it. Okay, so please remember to always save your work, and that will be part of the things you need to add as the precautions you use. Okay, very important. Remember to save your work in the right folder, and remember to save intermittently, just in case anything happens. You know that your data can easily be retrieved without you starting all over again. Okay, so before you print your work, you can choose to put your name and your reg number either at the footer or the header. I don't think that will be much of a problem because it is already appearing here. Okay, but for me, I like to do that. Very important. I like to just add it so you remember your reg number, so you put it down there with your name. Okay, so we're done. Yeah, we're done with the A part, so you can save your work again and do your Ctrl P to print. Then you choose your printer, then you print, so you see everything is going to appear in one page, and then you can print your work. Now let's look at the B part. Now you can just choose to hold your Ctrl key and press enter to continue typing here, or you can choose to open a new document. That is if you don't want this your name to appear, but I don't think it's a problem. You can actually continue here. Yeah. So here is the B part. So in the precaution part, I wrote that I saved my work regularly. I saved my work in the folder for easy retrieval. I saved my work regularly to avoid loss of data. I ensure the text boxes do not cover the text boxes or the text or other objects. Of course, we did this, right? I made sure to type in my personal data correctly. Of course, we did this. I made sure to enter other data accurately as instructed. Okay, so we did this, right? So the next part says that we should write a short note on any of the three. Okay, here. So for the copy is used to duplicate text, okay, or objects. Of course, we use that here. We copied and then we pasted. Yeah. So how do we do that? You can select the text and you do your Ctrl+C, okay, or you click on copy on the home tab. So this is the home tab, so you click on copy. If I select anything now, you see that the copy should be active. Yeah, you see it there. Okay. For the header, of course, we use that already. We put our name and our reg number at the header here. You see it. Okay, so that's the header. So as text or graphic at the top margin of every page, okay, at the top. How do we use that? You can click on insert and go to header, or you can just double click at the top margin there. Why do we need it? Commonly used to add titles and dates and other things, okay, and even page numbers. Okay, indentation. Okay, so indentation is just the space that you give, so it adjusts the space between the margin and the start of a paragraph. So for instance, we can choose to leave our mouse pointer there, our cursor blinking there, and then we press on the tab key, so the tab key will push that into, that is indentation for you. Okay, how do we use it? We use the ruler to go to layout and indent, so you can choose that very option, okay, or you can just do it just like I did here. So that's go to layout, and then you can use any of this. You see, layout, indent. Okay, you can use any of that. Okay, let's move on. Improves readability. Okay, so why do we need it? We use it to improve the readability of the text. Okay, and then the next one says insert text. Okay, so it's used to add new content. Okay, at any position. Okay, and how do we use it? We click where we want to type and we start entering. Okay, we click and then we start to enter the text. So for preview, print preview, of course we have already done the print preview. When you did Ctrl+P, the print preview appeared. So this is the preview of your printout. Yeah, okay. So what we use it for, it shows how the document will look like when printed. So how do we get there? You can go to file and then print, or you do your Ctrl+P. Okay, so it helps you to check out a spacing for formatting, before you print, just to make sure that everything looks okay. Finally, the spell check. The spell check used to identify, and correct spelling or grammar errors. So how do we use it? You click on review and then you go to spell checking. So review and then you go to spell checking. So here it is. You go to spell checking there. Okay, or you just press F7. So it ensures that document is free from spelling and grammatical errors. So that's that. All right, so at this point you're free to print your work and you're good to go. So now, have you liked this video? Have you subscribed? Have you shared? Have you commented? Have you hit the notification button? That is if you are on YouTube, okay? And if you're on Facebook, do well to follow and do other actions that you're supposed to do. Now that way the video gets to as many persons as possible. Thanks for watching this video. I'll see you again in the next video when we are going to treat question number 2. Bye for now.